Remember when I said I was having a terrible month and that I hoped the next month would treat me better? You know, in times like this, all we can really do is laugh. Yeah, I got hacked, and I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about some dolls too. I didn't want to dedicate one entire video to what I can accurately describe as the worst week of my life, but I do still want to talk about it. So, if you follow a lot of other YouTubers, then you might already know that this is not a very unique situation. A lot of YouTubers have gotten hacked, and every time I saw it happen, I would just think, wow, that is actually my worst nightmare. If that ever happened to me, I would probably just die. And I want to be clear, I'm not making fun of them, obviously. Oh my god. I hope it doesn't come off that way. It was just speaking as a YouTuber, I can only imagine how utterly devastating that would be. And it was. It was devastating, incredibly. I don't know. I'm sure someone's going to say I'm overreacting, but I've worked so hard on this channel for 5 years. I put everything into it. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of what I've done and the community that I have. And for a moment, I thought it was just gone, literally just gone, like my entire channel never even existed. But how did this happen, you might ask, and your curiosity is valid, but honestly, I don't know. I do not know, but these hackers, man, whatever they're doing, they're getting better at it, and that is terrifying. It is so scary. Because the channels that I see that are getting hacked, the people that run them are people that I respect, people that I know to be smart and vigilant and on top of things, but it really feels like no one is safe. I don't know if I'll ever feel safe again, like not like I did before. Let me walk you through what happened. It was like 3 a.m. And first off, thank God for my abysmal sleep schedule, because I was awake the entire time. If I had just woken up to this happening in the morning, it might have been a million times worse. But no, I was awake. And what's so strange about this is that I wasn't at my PC. I wasn't on my phone. I was on my PS5. Shout out to Scarlet Nexus. Bought it on sale for like $8. A pretty fun game so far. So I'm playing video games and my phone just starts going crazy with notifications. I look and I see all these alerts that my Gmail is being signed into. My password is being changed. And obviously I was like, oh my god. So I run in here to my office and I try to sign into my email and I can't use any of my recovery options either because they've changed them in the span of literally like 2 minutes. I lost everything. Because think about how many things you have connected to your Gmail account if, you use Gmail, and not even necessarily by choice, because I do try not to connect everything to my Gmail if I can help it. But like, even the texting app on my phone is connected to my Gmail for some reason. I lost access to so much stuff. This isn't even the video I planned to make, obviously. But I mean, I lost access to my Google Docs, where I keep all my video notes. I lost access to my bookmarks, my resources, so I couldn't even work on any videos in the meantime. Not that I think I would have had the energy, but But after they got into my email and essentially took over my channel, they started to live stream this, I don't know, Bitcoin blockchain scam nonsense. And that went on for an hour before YouTube just took my channel out back and deleted it entirely. And it would be a few more days before, I got everything settled and back in control. And I have an anxiety disorder. I live in constant paranoia. I am always imagining the worst case scenario. I try to be aware of security risks and protecting myself and making sure my information is secure, but it wasn't enough. And I'm sure there's something I could have done better, something I shouldn't have done, a link I shouldn't have clicked on. But I've been playing it over and over in my head for days, and I just genuinely don't know how they got into my email. Because most of the accounts that I've heard from other creators who have gone through this exact thing, they involved this fake sponsorship offer and a link to download something, but I didn't do anything like that. I made sure very specifically to never ever download anything from an email offer because I saw what happened to other people. I wish I had more information so I could warn you guys and tell you exactly how to avoid this happening, but all I can say is to be extremely careful. Make sure you take every single precaution you possibly can, even if it feels excessive. Having two-factor authentication didn't help me. They breezed right past that. Having a recovery email didn't help me. They changed that. It wasn't enough. Fortunately, it worked out. I got my channel back, but this was agonizing. It was so miserable. I have never been so stressed in my entire life, and I've been through some pretty dramatic events. I just felt so violated, which I know is a strong word, but this channel is something so personal. It's a part of me. It is me. It's supposed to be where I feel safe, and it was taken away from me by some anonymous jerk in Belarus. And for what? To live stream some Bitcoin bullshit for an hour? That was worth destroying everything I built? Like, oh my god. But I'm back. Thank you, Team YouTube, for helping me get this channel back. I don't really like that the only way to get in touch with you is to publicly beg on Twitter for your attention, because that felt so humiliating on top of all the other misery and despair I was feeling. But, I'm sure you're busy. All's well that ends well, I suppose. I do mean it when I say thank you. I'm so grateful to still be here, because I'm not going anywhere, not without a fight. 2026 has been not very kind to me, not so far, but I have amazing friends who have kept me sane during this ordeal. I have an incredible husband who made sure I was okay and looked after me. I have a community that rallied behind me to make sure this got fixed. And I'm happy I can come out the other side feeling very loved and supported. And I have dolls, so many new dolls to talk about, because that's what we do here. And it's not going to stop. You'll have to pry my opinionated banter on these little plastic women out of my cold, dead hands. So now this is the part of the video where I go over some new and upcoming fashion doll releases. Back to business as usual, thank God. We don't actually have a whole lot to talk about today, but it's good to just catch up, Normally, I like to start with Barbie, but I actually do not think there is anything new with my girl Barbara. At least nothing with nice, officially released stock images that I feel safe showing. If I missed something, though, please forgive me. As you can imagine, I have been a little out of sorts. But we'll catch Barbie on the next one. We do have some stuff from Monster High to talk about. First is the new line of self-scare secrets with Spectra Vondergeist, Cleo Denial, and Frankie Stein. These aren't officially out yet, I don't think, but I imagine they'll be on store shelves and up online before too long. Self-scare secrets is a cute line. I didn't end up getting any of the dolls from the first wave, but I still think they're, cute. I think it's a line that really shines in terms of accessories and play potential, but not necessarily in the fashion department, which is, I guess, thematically appropriate. They're supposed to be relaxing and loungewear and such, which is just not really the kind of look I personally gravitate towards when I think about adding dolls to my collection, But definitely a lot of cute accessories. Like, I love Frankie's leg warmers. And they're Crocs. Of course, Frankie would be wearing Crocs. That makes complete sense to me. Cleo's leg warmers, too, are really cute. And I do love this wavy hair on her in theory. It looks great in the stock images. but I think we both know it's not gonna look quite like that in real life. Also, G3 has been doing this thing with Cleo where they love to mix very light blues and very dark, almost jewel tone blues, which can work sometimes, but then they also throw in different shades of gold or differing values of tan and yellow, which more often than not ends up making her look kind of messy. And that's just not the Cleo I know. The Cleo I know and love would pay attention to those details. Spectra is kind of the standout for me. I really like her ponytail. I like her hoodie. I like how tactile the clothes look in general in this line, actually. I think that's something good for younger kids. But I just really like her look overall. If I was going to get a doll from this line, it would probably be her. Next is the new Skulltimate Secrets line, which is the cabin slaycation theme and includes only Claudine and Cupid. We used to get 5 dolls in this line. Now we only have 2. That's interesting. There are pieces that I like. Monster High in general is starting to use a lot more varied fabrics and textures, and that's really good. I support that. The skirts and the scarves are very cool. I don't know. I'm not feeling mainly Cupid, which is weird because usually I see the color pink and like that's enough. I don't need anything else. But something's not clicking. I don't know. Maybe it's the accessories, maybe it's like the pops of blue in the color scheme, but she's just not taking it for me. I do think Claudine looks a little better, a lot more cohesive. She isn't a doll that I, like, absolutely must have, but Skulltimate Secrets generally goes on sale after a while. I think I got the Oasis dolls for, like, $12 each, something like that. So I can see myself grabbing her at around that price, which I'm not trying to be shady. She's perfectly cute. I just, I just lost a whole week's worth of income, so I need to be a little pickier for a bit. Next, a new Skeletor Shorty from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. She will cost 70 doll hairs, will be available both on Mattel Creations and Amazon, and will be released today. Was released today, the day I am filming this. By the time you see this, it will be the day after, so was released yesterday. And she sold out very quickly, too. There's a chance she could be restocked, though, like some of the others recently. Like many Skeletor dolls, I cannot claim to have ever watched the movie that this one came from. I have never seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space, nor do I plan on watching it anytime soon. So as for how well she represents the movie, or this character, I cannot say. I would not be the person to consult on that front. But I think she looks fine, mostly. I don't want to buy her. I am not the target audience for this doll at all. But knowing that she is presumably meant to be a killer clown from outer space, yeah, that gets through. And she still retains a lot of Monster High identity too, which, I always like to see in Skelectors. I know I've complained in the past about the way Skeletor dolls tend to do the shoes with the heels that are just random objects, but I think this is the right way to do it. The heel design is actually incorporated into the shoe. It's not just like some object randomly glued on, It has personality. It actually elevates the design rather than looking like a weird, unnecessary afterthought. It's the right amount of intentional camp for a Monster High doll. So I don't really have anything too negative to say about her, except that I think she's overpriced, and, well, maybe that the fabric quality can be improved. That yellow pleather just looks very plasticky. But I hope that the people who like this movie really love her. I hope they were able to buy her. That's all I can really say. Next, a new Disney Princess line from Mattel, the Disney Princess manga collection. When I first caught wind of this line, I will admit that I was a little scared, a little afraid, because manga and anime-inspired dolls made by American companies are not always very well executed. to say the least. They just tend to feel very inauthentic and almost like they're designed with contempt for anime rather than an appreciation for it. But these, I actually think these are really cute. They're a little smaller than your average fashion doll. They're about 9 inches tall, which I think was a really good move. Definitely. Japanese fashion dolls tend to be made around that scale, and it also helps with the specific proportions you want from an anime-esque doll. So that alone tells me they went into this with a pretty genuine approach. The first wave includes Ariel, Snow White, and Jasmine, and I would assume we'll eventually get more characters, but a pretty solid lineup. Their faces are really sweet looking. I like the little alterations to their designs, like making Snow White's skirt a little shorter. My one complaint is mainly the patterns on their clothes. I think that they just maybe make the line as a whole look pretty juvenile. And the fabric quality in general could probably be better, but I think their faces are so cute. I don't think they're like fooling anyone. These are very obviously American products intended to imitate a Japanese style, but they look very earnest and charming, really adorable. I definitely see myself getting Ariel, maybe Jasmine. I'm not really a Snow White girly, but I do admit her doll is really cute, and this style really suits her character too, so we'll see. These will be available on Amazon. I'm not completely certain of the price or the exact release date yet, though. Next, something pretty unexpected, a line of DC Comics fashion dolls courtesy of Jakks Pacific. These will be exclusive to Walmart, and I've heard varying things about how the release is going to look. Some sources said that these will be released one at a time throughout the year. Other reports said they're dropping all at once, and then we'll get more dolls based on other Warner Bros. Properties coming out throughout the year, so I'm not 100% certain what the release will look like, but they are 40 doll hairs each, that much I can confirm. I have very mixed feelings about these. On one hand, oh my god, speaking as a huge DC Comics fan, this is exactly what I wanted. These are some of my favorite characters. I would have loved to see Wonder Woman too, but you know. On the other hand, I think they could look a little better. It's mostly the faces. For characters based on DC Comics characters, I would have expected the faces to look more mature, I guess. Maybe they'll look better in person. Maybe they just have to grow on me, but that's my biggest complaint. Well, that and that they chose to do Harley's look from the first Suicide Squad movie, which is like my least favorite Harley outfit, next to that atrocious getup she had in the first Injustice game. But I will be buying them. I will. I have to. I gotta. Maybe I'll pass on Supergirl, but the Sirens, I gotta get my girls. Next, a new release from Bratz, a new budget line called Sassy Stampede, which is obviously Western themed. These will retail for $17.99 and are currently available all on Amazon at the time of me filming this. I think as far as a budget slim box line goes, they're fine. I definitely don't think they're as big of a moment as Scorchin was, but they're fine. There's a few small things that annoy me, like Yasmin's tassels being entirely printed on. Like, no, that's not who we are, Bratz. This isn't Mattel. We don't do that. And also the cowgirl hats being these like flimsy, like party favor material. I'm also a little apprehensive about how long these outfits will last. That pleather definitely doesn't look sturdy. I do anticipate some flaking, some peeling in their future. But I do like a lot of the makeup choices, and I love Jade. Of course I love my girl Jade. She can do no wrong. Obviously this doll would be my favorite one. I'll probably get her and maybe Sasha, But Yasmin and Chloe, they're easy skips for me. Alright, last thing on my list, new Rainbow High dolls. The second wave of my fashion style dolls. This is another budget line. They're $16.99 and not on Amazon yet, but they are on the MGA online shop. When I look at them, I just feel kind of sad because I still see these little remnants of old Rainbow High, you know? A lot of the outfit pieces are really well made. Some are pretty cute, like Skylar's dress or Jules' top. But the looks as a whole are all just like really childish. They're well made, but not particularly well designed. Which, yeah, they're budget dolls, so there's not really any harm done in the long run, but I just miss what we used to have. I wish they weren't forced to conform to this really juvenile rainbow sparkle aesthetic to fit the brand's new image. Oh, and Violet still has the worst outfit by far. It's just awful, all the way down to the shoes. Some things really do never change. But that is everything that I had on my list for today. As always, thank you so much for watching. It is, of course, now your turn to go down there in the comments and tell me all your thoughts. Tell me which dolls you're the most excited for, which ones you're getting, which ones you already got, and also which ones you're not getting. Because I do support being a hater as long as you keep it civil and you keep it cute. But when you're done with all that, just be sure to like and subscribe for any future fashion doll content. Now go out and get those dolls, and stay safe. Don't get hacked.